Hello. I just wanted to do a little bit of discussion when it comes to the PowerPoint that I posted for week 8, the pre-K language and literacy development PowerPoint. This is such a powerful time when children learn so much about language and literacy. This is also a time when they're learning about symbolic thinking. They're able to use a symbol in place of the real object. This is important because this is also a time when they're starting to learn what letters are and what numbers are. This all goes hand in hand with their literacy. Pretend play is an important part of this stage of development. And this is also obviously time when they start making marks on paper and drawing. Language development, huge achievement at this point. Receptive language is the ability to understand the meanings of words and sounds. It's not the ability to speak, but it's just taking it all in. And this really goes along a developmental continuum. However, not all children will develop it at the same time. Trust me, there's huge disparities in this. Then comes the child that has difficulty with receptive language. And you'll notice some of these characteristics. Basically, they look like they're not listening to you, but they're having problems assimilating everything that you say and making it understandable to them. And then you can read this all on your own on some of the things you can do that help a child that's having difficulties with receptive language. The expressive language is the one that people worry about the most. Is, you have parents ask you, well, when will she learn how to talk? Well, that comes at vastly different times. Some children learn how to talk when they're 1. Other children learn how to talk when they're 3. And anywhere in between. If you really have a child that's 3 and they're speaking very few words, then that's a good time to suggest to the parents to obviously have them checked, make sure their hearing is checked. But most of the time, what you find out is that there's nothing wrong with them. They're just on the back end of learning how to talk, and they can actually handle a lot of the receptive language. They're just not able to express it or don't wish to express it yet. So very interesting how those two are completely different, even though they go hand in hand. These are some hints on how to help children with expressive language issues. More hints, not going to read them to you, but I wanted to point out they're also learning some really important concepts at this point. They're learning semantics. Semantics just refers to the meaning of words. If you look it up in a dictionary, you're looking at the semantics. And that's what children learn when they're in the pre-K age. And they're constantly asking you, what's this? What's that? What's that? Semantics. But pragmatics is something more difficult that they also have to master at the pre-K age. Pragmatics refers to the way they use language in social situations, and this will vary depending on the child's culture and family and traditions. They have to pick up that you speak differently to different people. For instance, when you talk to your best friend, you talk differently than you do when you go see your doctor or when you talk to your professor. It's a different relationship, and you use different forms of language. Children have to learn that. That doesn't just come naturally. You talk differently to a baby. You have to understand the idioms of language. When someone looks out the window and says, oh, it's raining cats and dogs. Well, a young child is looking out the window for the puppies and the kittens to come fall from heaven. They have to learn that that's just how we speak. It means it's raining heavily. Children have to learn at this particular age that there are unspoken rules to conversation. You have to take turns. You're expected in our culture to look the speaker in the eye. In other cultures, it's considered really rude to look the speaker in the eye if you're a child. It's It's something they have to learn. Children adapt themselves to the culture in which they're being raised. Again, in pre-K, children have to recognize that there are facial expressions that go with language. And those facial expressions have meanings. There can be gestures. I'm going to point, we're going here. That means something. The rules of conversation are just different. In some cultures, when you're having a conversation with someone, you get really close to them. In other cultures, everyone has their personal space and you don't dare invade their personal space. This is all part of pragmatics. If you're getting ready to take the OSAT or plan to do it soon, please know the difference between semantics and pragmatics and know these particular characteristics of pragmatics, because I can tell you there will be questions on the OSAT about this. The developmental stages of writing come in here as well. This particular age group we're talking about this week, pre-literate, they're in the scribble stage. They may be in the symbolic stage where they make marks that are intended to be some letter. They may have some directional scribbles, and they may have mock letters. They may have some letters that look pretty good. But this is the scribble pre-literate stage. You can expect to see this in children anywhere from the age of 2 to probably the age of 4 or 5. And sometimes beyond, but hopefully not too far beyond. I would always hope my first graders were beyond this when they got to the classroom. Okay, if you have any questions, please let me know about this. This is really important. They'll also do something called driding. Driding is where they draw and write. And you notice how you have the backwards letters, and then the T is perfectly fine. This is normal development. Backwards letters are normal until about 2nd grade. And you'll notice here, the child, this is me and my family. And they've drawn their tadpole figure families. This is great. This is typical preschool. Draw and write, all the same, writing. All right, just a little pictorial of preschool literacy. I hope this has been informative, and hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.